Have you ever been called difficult, a rebel, or maybe just plain stubborn, all because you asked a really simple question? Why? Like, why is this rule even here? What's the actual logic behind this process? If any of that sounds familiar, then yeah, you're in exactly the right place. We're about to break down why that question isn't just important, it's pretty much essential. It is such a frustrating feeling, isn't it? You're looking at an instruction, or maybe a rule that makes zero sense, so you ask for a reason, and all of a sudden, you're the one causing the problem. This question right here, it really gets to the heart of a super common and honestly a very misunderstood experience. And here it is. This is the core idea we're going to unpack today. That constant need you have to ask why, that's not a character defect, it's not you trying to be difficult just for the heck of it. From a psychological standpoint, it's actually a cognitive signature. It's a fundamental feature of how your brain is literally wired to see the world. Okay, so let's get right into that feeling of friction. Why does your totally logical question so often get seen as a challenge? Well, it all pretty much boils down to a huge misunderstanding of what's actually motivating you.
So, the common view, right, the way most people see it, is that you're resisting the person in charge, the boss, the teacher, whoever. But what's really happening is something else entirely. You're not resisting the authority figure, you're resisting the illogic. Your brain is basically hitting a brick wall, not because of who gave the order, but because the order itself just doesn't compute.
So, all right, if it's not about defiance, then what is it about? This is where we get into the actual mechanics of how you think. It has way less to do with your personality and way more to do with your processing style. And this quote, wow, it just nails it. Research shows that analytical minds are just less likely to accept something as true simply because, well, that's how we've always done it. Tradition for its own sake, it holds almost zero weight. What really matters is whether that tradition or that rule still serves a logical purpose. And if it doesn't, your brain can't help but throw up a red flag. This brings us to the core engine that's driving this entire behavior. And it's a concept that, honestly, a lot of us operate on without even knowing it has a name. Your internal guidance system.
So, what are we talking about here? Well, people who are guided externally, they tend to look for clues from the outside world. What does the boss want? What's the official rule? What's the safest thing to do? But people guided internally, they run that information through their own logic filter first. The main source of truth comes from inside, and it's based on evidence and reason. This table just breaks it down perfectly. Someone with internal guidance prioritizes the strength of the evidence. Their key question is always, does this make sense? Now look at the other side. Someone with external guidance prioritizes the status of the speaker. Their key question is, who is saying this? And that's the whole conflict right there. Your motivation is to find logic, but the system you're in might just be looking for approval or safety through obedience. And that's where the sparks fly.
So you can probably see where this is going. This naturally leads to conflict, especially when you take a logical mind and drop it inside a rigid and often pretty illogical world. Some environments are just almost perfectly designed to clash with this way of thinking.
I mean, just think about it. Corporate hierarchies built on top-down commands. Traditional classrooms that value memorizing facts over actually thinking critically. And oh man, those sprawling bureaucracies just filled with rules that lost their purpose ages ago. These are all systems that, at the end of the day, reward quiet obedience way more than they reward innovative questioning.
And you can see the collision course play out, step by step. A new kind of arbitrary rule gets introduced. Your brain immediately goes on a hunt for the logic behind it. When it comes up empty, you ask the most natural question in the world. Why? But the system isn't built for why. It's built for because I said so. And boom, you've got conflict. You get labeled as difficult, and the system just keeps on chugging along totally unchanged.
But what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if this so-called rebellion isn't a problem we need to solve, but actually a powerful asset we should be harnessing? It's time to reframe this entire idea.
That drive you have to question things is not a bug. It's the feature that debugs the system for everybody else. It is the internal quality control that pushes for improvement, for efficiency, for progress. I mean, every single innovation, every breakthrough, every time a broken process finally gets fixed, it starts with somebody who is brave enough to say, hang on a second, this doesn't make any sense.
Real progress has never, ever come from blind conformity. It comes from the people who stop, look at a path that everyone's walking down, and have the courage and the mental independence to ask, hey, is this really the best way to go?
So the next time you feel that urge, that itch to question something, just remember, it's not a flaw.
It's your brain's logic engine firing on all cylinders. It is an asset. Which really just leaves us with one final thought. What outdated process, what nonsensical tradition, what illogical rule in your world is just sitting there waiting for your why?